Very warm welcome, my lovely viewers. It's another time again that God has enabled us to meet for another very important tuition. I am your tutor Mark Andedo, and welcome to this episode. This is episode 9, part 4. Remember, we are still on the series of types of letters, especially the 3 main types of letters. We started with employment letter, job offer letter. Then today we want to talk about reference letter. Through simple definition that we have had there before, we had decided, or we had made different definitions, and as per now, I am very sure that if you are a close follower of mine, you must be able to differentiate between the 3 types of letters, because remember, it was a quest from one of the audience, or one of the viewer, who was asking me the difference between those 3 types of letters, because from the place of interview, those letters were needed. Job offer letter, employment letter, and then reference letter. So he was wondering what types of letters are these, because to them, all those letters made the same thing, of which, through the episode we have run, we have concluded that the letters are not the same. They might be written by one person or the employer, but they don't have the same target. Though generality is that both letters are official. So in terms of formatting, they follow the official letter formatting system. That is one common thing. Another common thing with the 3 letters is that they all come from one person, the employer. It can be from the employer to the candidate, that is job offer letter. It can be from employer to the client. Client can be a bank that needs a confirmation that you are working and you will be able to outdo some of your loans. That is employment letter, because it confirms about your ability to secure monetary values in terms of your salary will be able to be used, you know. And then reference letter, we are going now to see the difference between those letters and the reference letter. Welcome, and this episode, mostly we are going to cover 4 main parts. Number 1, we are going to define what is a reference letter. Are you getting that? Number 2, we'll be talk about the importance of reference letter. Is it okay? Is it of value to write it? Just like we saw the other importance of other letters. Is it also important to have a reference letters? Or at what scenario do we really need a reference letter? Then part 3, we are going to see the contents of this letter. And then part 4, we are going to see the templates. Template means an example of the draft that I've made that you can also use, or you can copy and only edit to make sure that you are professionally writing that letter that is needed. So those are 4 areas that please you have to be with me until the end of this video, so that you may learn, and after learning you ripple it to others. If you are viewing for the first time, this is my YouTube channel, Andedo Mark. Please subscribe. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. I love and I thank God for the rate we are growing. We are now growing. We are almost hitting 200. Just a few days ago, we started this channel. We are growing. The subscribers, please make sure you subscribe. And please watch, like, and comment. I love the comments. I love the comments. Please comment. Then share. Are you then whenever you get a question, please make sure you ask, so that we share. The more you comment, the more you ask question, is the more I get morale to continue doing research, because these things is not just a matter of waking up and presenting them to you. Most of things are things we know, but what will make the difference is the deeper research that I do, the deeper questions that I ask, the deeper references that I make. That's what makes the difference between the presentation of this channel and others. And then we present it in a simplest language that any other person can understand. Especially my target is to the job seekers. Job seekers, these include the graduates, the fresh graduates. These are people who have not been exposed to the job environment. So it is a series that is growing slowly by slowly. But also to some extent, it also accompanies these people who are already permanently employed and they are working. Then also on the touch of the employer, I am also touching on that side, especially like this episode is mostly meant for the employers. Very soon you will know the reason why. Otherwise, I want to thank you and send my shouts to most of my fans. Like today, before presentation, before doing research of these, I was just discussing with a friend of mine called Milka. This is a very wonderful lady. So she was like, we were supposed to talk. We had a date of talking later in the evening. So the time got late. Then after late, I was like, where have you been? What happened? Because we scheduled that this and this. And she was like, it was supposed to be my holiday, yes, but you know, I rushed to my place of work to pay my workers. So underline the word pay my workers. That word really motivated me. So I was like, I love that segment whereby you are now able to pay, irrespective of how much, irrespective of how many employees you have, irrespective of what work you are doing. But the fact that you are able to come out and tell me that you are paying somebody, you know, it's so much a blessing if somebody depends on you. So at that level, at that age, she's able to be employing and paying somebody. That's so wonderful, Milka, and I send you shouts and may God bless you so much. And please continue watching my channel, continue watching my presentations, and we are going far with the channel. May you be blessed, and I love that part. So especially this part is meant for you, because I was jokingly telling you that now you should be able to know how to write these letters, because this letter that I'm presenting here, mostly it is meant for the employers of the company. If you have your self business, you employ 2-3 people, 100 job men, those people, please, they are your employees and they deserve the best genuine processes in channel of communication, in channel of encouragement, in channel of motivation, and even payment. They need that channel. That's why you will grow to the extent of becoming a company. So thank you so much, Milka Wamolo. That was so good, all the way from Nairobi, Kenya. Kasarani, thank you so much. So stay tuned and watch this. Very good. Very quickly, because of time, let's go to our topic of today. This is Tuesday class job market, episode 9, part 4. Reference letter. What is reference letter? Simply, we call it also a recommendation letter, letter of a recommendation. So I'm very sure if you hear the letter of a recommendation, now you can click in your mind, in your point of senses, you can think what I'm going to talk about. Because mostly this reference letter, the word reference brings another click. But when you talk about letter of recommendation, at least every Harry, Tom and Dick will be in a position to know or to identify that. Why? Because mostly this is a letter that is needed, especially at the interview level. So if it's a recommendation, the word recommend means that I am like marketing you. You know, I am selling you. I am beating the drums for you so that you become more qualified. That is what is meant by the letter of recommendation. And therefore, that one should tell you that whatever we are going to talk about here is more about the employer than the employee. So it is all about the employer. When do we write letter of recommendation? Why do we write it? To who are we supposed to be writing this letter? So stay tuned and make sure that you watch it to the end. Now, definition as simple as that. This is a document that is written by the employer to another employer. It is not written to the employee. It is written for the employee to the or to another employer. Talking about the qualities, the achievements, and the privileges and the abilities of these employees. In short, it's a special document that markets and staff or market an employee to another potential employer. In short, I can write it to my ex-employee, you know, so that when you go somewhere, you get job. So we can say that it's also called a recommendation letter, also known as a letter of reference. It's a document in which assess the quality quality and the characters of the staff, and it's written to another employer so that you can be able to get job. So it means that during your interview, this is one of the documents that will be required. If your CV is not up to date, if you will not be able to talk, at least letter of recommendation can come in between and talk on your behalf. Is this letter really important? Of course, from the same simple explanation I've done, already you know this letter is very important. It's a segment. It's an additional value to your interview series. And you know how important the interview is. Number one, it is a positive endorsement. All recommendation letter, there will be ever no recommendation letter that is negative. Because first of all, it's open. You will be able to read it. Secondly, it's something that tries to market you. So I don't know that ill-hearted employer that will be ready or write you a very wrong letter of reference. Most employers, they are good enough to be writing very positive. So it's a positive endorsement. It's also important because it confirms your personal skills and attributes and achievement. It is written by someone familiar with you. So it means that not a relative or a sibling or something like that. This is your employer. Your employer knows you. Maybe you have worked there for 3 years, for 4 years, for 5 years. This person can talk about you. Then also it is important because it is needed when applying for jobs. You cannot apply a job, this one, it adds value. Only CV is good, yes, with some academic certificates, yes, but if you have a letter of recommendation, it's an added advantage. So it's used in application of job. Then lastly, it speaks and markets your activities, your attributes, your skills and achievements. So those are some of the importance of this letter. What does it entail? In short, what are the contents? What are the things that we mostly expect to see in this letter of reference? Number one, heading has to be there, because remember, I'm telling you that this letter is official. Anything official, of course, we must know. So most companies will be using maybe the letterhead already printed there, the details of the company, blah blah blah, is already there. If my friend Milka, for example, is going to write a letter of recommendation, one of her staff maybe is moving to another place or changing environment of stay, you have to release her or you have to release him in a good way. So when you release them, my friend Milka, you have to write for them a letter of recommendation. It's very important. It may sound as simple as that, but it's very important. When you write this letter, your contacts as the writer has to be there. Mostly, that's the most important thing. The next person, you never know where the letter is going to lie or to land on. So it's not a must to have the details of the recipients, but it's a must to have the details of the writer. Your company names, like you have the Millie's Hair Saloonis and whatever, your contact details, your social media handles, and your specific telephone numbers, just for contact, just in case. Then it has to have a date as usual, you know, because of official letter, follow it like that. So the contacts of the writer has to be there, and the dates, they have to be there. So we have the names of the writer, the title of the writer, and then the salutation, the following the original format. Those contents in the format of official letter has to be there. Then it has a brief introduction that states who you are, how you relate to this person. We will see that in the template. Then part 3, an overview of the applicant's strength, abilities, and the powers and the achievements, because you are summarizing the qualities, the characteristics of this staff in terms of marketing him so that he can be able to get work in the next employment company. Then a closing statement has to be there. Your expectations, just as official letter, closing statement, like opening we had, closing also has to be there. Then lastly, as usual, we normally finish by signature, including your name, and then in bracket you can include the title, who are you. For example, if Milka is the one who is writing this, for example, Milka will end up saying, yours sincerely, Milka Omolo, in bracket, company CEO. Then you put your signature there. Okay? So I hope up to now you will be able to know what it entails and all that. Now, what are the professional formats? Of course, even the format we have passed through, formats as usual, professional formats. We have the details of the writer. From that, as usual, you cross one line, put your date there. After the date, you will talk about after the date, we have the salutations. Then after salutations, remember, we don't have to have the letter of, unless we are specific where this letter is going to. But if you are not specific, just leave it blank like that, okay? Don't stress getting the contact of the recipient. You can just leave it vaguely like this. After writing your contact, writing the date, writing the salutation. Salutation is this part where we normally say, dear sir or madam, you know, that's a vague statement, but it's a salutation, it's like a greeting. Then after that, we don't really, okay, or the subject that we have, just write to whom it may concern, because we are not sure of where this letter is going to land on, unless you are specifically asked for a recommendation letter by a specific employer and has to go there only one. That one, you can write the details of the recipients. But if it's just something for a job search, it's vague like that, because we'll have a lot of photocopies about it, okay? So we don't have to specify by having the specific contacts of the recipients. I hope there is clear. Then the other thing, like opening statements remain the same, the description remain the same, and then conclusions remain the same. Then your signature and your name and the title remains the same. Now, the templates. In short, what we are going to see like this, template is an example of format that I did, and we are going to see the format that I did here. Now, the template, we are saying, whether you are writing a letter of recommendation for students, remember, letter of recommendation is not only for the employed, please. Just like the CVs, the personal statements and all this, each and every sector might be needing this. It's not all about when you want job only. Remember, when you are changing a college, from one college to another college, you can be given a letter of recommendation. You are a student, from one school to another one, you can be given a letter of recommendation, so that this head teacher is proving your ability to be able to be in that school, or the reason why you are changing the school, you know. So letter, whether you are writing a reference letter for the workers, for the students, or you are writing for the sick people, you know, also you inpatients, outpatients, those kind of things, you want to transfer somebody, letter of recommendation showing the abilities or the quality characteristics that enable you to exist somewhere has to be written. So irrespective of what type of recommendation letter you are writing, please, the format remains the same. Our format, remember, we talked about when we are writing official letters. Remember the format and remember the font size. We talked mostly the Times Roman is the standard value, then level 12, use of 12. If you have the headings, maybe 14 is available, and the format should be Times Romans, okay? Then spacing maybe 1 or 1.5 inches. That's the spacing that should be there. Paragraphing, it depends. Either you can do by crossing one line or leaving an inch of 1 inch or 1.5 a space, and then you start writing from every line. That's also a paragraphing modes. Other things remain the same. This one, if you missed that one, please go back to the first episodes, go to my YouTube channel and look all those videos that are there. Presentations are there about the formatting. So let's go to a very quick example here of the formats that I did. And as usual, I love using the name of my company, and as you can see up there, I am going to use my contacts. My contacts there are Goshen Investment Company, and then PO Box 7349 to whatever, Nairobi, Kenya. Telephone numbers are there, email numbers are there, and then YouTube channel is also there. Nowadays in modern world, please, when you give your contacts, remember to give your social handled levels. If you have Twitter, good. If you have TikTok, give all of them, because most of interviews are nowadays done online. Before you go for that physical interview, they shall have perused all your social media. They want to see your mindset. So if you are going to work in a Christian organization, yes, you keep on posting nonsense, my dear, there is even no need of going for that interview, because you shall have failed or cancelled you a long time ago. So your social media platforms are very important for pre-interviews checkups. Now after that, we have the date. I have the date there. Today is 3rd May 2022. To whom it may concern. Then I go to dear sir, dear madam. Now let me read for you the contents. Otherwise, please make sure you visit also my Facebook page. All these contents, I put them there. Apart from the video in the YouTube, in the Facebook page, which is called Common Sense Isn't Common. If you search it there, you will get me. Common Sense Isn't Common. I put them there. Facebook account and Ledo mark, I also paste all this. So if you want total reading, total copy and paste, they are there. Okay? Be my follower in the Facebook page. Now, it is my pleasure. Now let me tell you what I wrote. It is my pleasure to strongly recommend Mr. So and so for the position this and this, in the institution, this and this. Okay? I am, you write my name like I am Mark and Edo, a position, maybe a company CEO at Goshen Company. I have 20 numbers, I have maybe 5 years of experience working with so and so, and have seen many young professionals come and go. Mark, or whatever you are writing for, is one individual I have worked with and uniquely stands out as the best performer. During our time together, so and so, that person I'm writing the letter for, displayed a great talent in skills, traits, experience, performance, and class. When we first met, I was immediately impressed by his appearance, and the courage he had and the explanation about the achievements really motivated me even before we went further for the interview. Then, remember, because this is a marketing strategy, you can bring a short story, a short explanation. Remember, there's something I told you in some episode behind, I can't remember the exact episode, that when somebody asks you, tell me about yourself, you only consider 3 things. Don't go to your level of education, don't go to your name, marital status, religion, no. When somebody asks you, tell me about yourself, only consider 3 things: the abilities, the skills, and the experience. How do you show your experience? Your experience you show by giving examples. There is no any other way of how you can tell me your experience. Your experience is example. For example, somebody can ask you, how will you deal with tough-headed staffs as a leader? How will you deal with tough-headed staff? Because I have communication skill, because I'm ability qualified, because I'm experienced and blah, blah, blah. One day, I organized this and this and this, and the system was like this and this, and by this and this, I brought my team, and we talked, and we discussed, we set rules and regulation, and by the end of the day, the problem was solved. You know, you are telling us a brief history of what you did. So as the writer, for example, Milka, my friend, you are writing a letter of reference to your girls. Make sure you have a short story. For example, the experience you had with a customer. How did that staff handle that customer that impressed you, that now you are writing this for her? Okay, so you can insert a short story about that. After that, it is not just for her technical skills that impressed. However, so and so was a joy to work with, because for her, socializing was a matter of interest, and she would socialize with everybody, was a team player, was a team leader, but to some extent also where specifically individualism is needed, he was first to do that. I am absolutely confident that so and so will be a great fit for your institution, right? The company, for your home, for whatever. Not only will he bring the kind of skills and experiences you are looking for, but he will go ahead to bring extraordinary skills and talents that are needed to make sure that the performance is met. If you need more information or specific examples, please do not hesitate to contact me at, write your telephone number there or email there. As a recommendation letter likely only provides a snapshot of whatever. Otherwise, I have a lot to say about him. Okay? Yours sincerely, name Mark and Edo, Goshen Company, my title in bracket, company CEO. With that one, I hope at least you are able to learn. Please, for more details, make sure you subscribe. Please give me your support by subscribing. Please share in your social media. This is a platform where we learn, we train each other. At least the little we grasp, we can use them to apply at our workplaces, our employment places, and our job seeking areas. May God bless you. See you next time. My YouTube account, Edo Mark. Subscribe and share. Facebook page, Common Sense Isn't Common. Follow me there. Then Facebook account is Edo Mark. Please be my follower, and may God bless you. See you next time. Bye.